we're back for another episode of Gold Table Talk Conversations. This topic, another controversial topic, will be the sexualization of young Black women and girls. We're here to talk to our Title IX coordinator at the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff, Ms. Karen Baker. Let's get started. Welcome back to Gold Table Talk Conversations. We're here to have a very, very important topic here at the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff regarding the sexualization of African American women and girls. And so with us, we have our guest today from the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff staff, the Director of Affirmative Action, Ms. Karen Baker. So you are the Title IX coordinator, correct?
I am.
Can you tell us more about what that role consists of?
As a Title IX coordinator for the campus, the main responsibility is to educate and train our employees on how to deal with situations of sexual misconduct and any behavior that's inappropriate as it relates to sexual misconduct. But the biggest piece in the focus is to make sure that people are informed and educated about the subject matter.
Great, thank you so much. So my other counterpart today, my co-host, Mr. Leonard Jones, you want to tell everybody about yourself?
Hi, I'm Leonard Jones, Texarkana, Texas. I'm a mass communications major here at the university.
Hi, my name is Elandra Gilmore. I'm from Chicago, Illinois. I'm also a mass communications major, but in print journalism.
All right, and I'm Ebony Kendrick, broadcast journalism, real local from here in Arkansas, Rising to be exact. So let's go ahead and get started. So, with our conversation, kind of kicking off the sexualization of Black women and girls, like how do you even frame that up? What does that look like to you?
See, the thing about it is, I grew up mainly around women, so I really don't have no predetermined idea of how a Black woman should look. I just see them as a normal person. But being a male, being in locker rooms, being around guys all the time, some people didn't have that loving nature of women around them all the time. So they have this idea that they see from the media of women being only seen as these sex figures and having this very attractive view and not just seeing them as a person. So that's usually where I get it from.
I have both my parents in the household. I have my mom and my dad. So mostly my dad was kind of the one who taught me like how like you should perceive yourself, and my mom too. But having a father in the household, not knocking nobody who don't, but having one in the household kind of made me like know my kind of worth, because he made me make it known that you are more than what you are. Like you are more than what you are. So my dad kind of taught me how like don't settle for less.
So what I'm hearing is like you both kind of feel like just off the sole appearance, like you walk up to a Black woman, your mind automatically goes to sex.
I mean, it's just like I said, like I didn't have a father figure around the home. It's just having mother, grandmother on both sides. Even my grandfather, just seeing how he treated my grandmother. Real respect, didn't call her any crazy names or nicknames. Treat her like a normal person. I see how the community treated her as she was around. Everybody loved her. She was nice. And that's why I feel like it starts at home. Okay. The early introduction of women, how your parents, the people around them, how they treat them. I've just always seen women being treated respectfully. That's why as I got older and I experienced more and got around people, it kind of hit me that everyone wasn't as fortunate as I to see this.
Same. Like, even though like some of the males in my family are either divorced from their significant others that they had children with, they always treat them with respect regardless of the circumstances at hand on both sides of my family. And we still treat those ladies like family, even though they're not a part of our family anymore. Right. So having those males in my life who are still respectful to women, regardless, it doesn't matter, kind of shows like, but everybody's not raised like that, which is unfortunate.
So I guess from a media standpoint, I'm going to kind of reframe this a little bit in the images that we see of Black women and Black girls, specifically on television. So you have shows like Bring It. You have a counterpart of that of Dance Moms. So you have two different television shows that are depicting girls of the same age group. But in my opinion, you definitely see more sexualization of the female body on the Bring It show, where, you know, you have a lot of dance moves that focus on, you know, popping, pelvic thrusts, those kinds of things. Yes, bucking. Yes, bucking. So what is your view of a television show from that aspect? I mean, we have community influence, but then like when you turn on the television or you're on your phone on social media, this is your portrayal of the Black woman.
Media, unfortunately, in our day and age, sells. And so they're going to put on what sells. Unfortunately, in most homes, well, you made reference to your parents and grandparents, and I'm kind of in that age category, but there is a vast difference between the way young women are being raised now versus the way we were raised. Not that it's necessarily bad, but when you may not have training where...
The babies raising babies.
Yes, you do have that generation. But there's really no voice to stand up and say, even though we know that sex may sell in the media, is that appropriate for me? Is that the type of image I want to portray?
Why is that the only image being broadcast to these ladies?
Yes. And so you take that into consideration, and where do you draw the line, and where do you teach your children to draw the line? And so it has a major effect on society and how not just women are viewed, but the way people respond to the women that are in the media.
Like I said, like I was in that age group. I was enrolled in dance classes. So way before Dance Moms and Bring It, I was in dance classes where I was taught ballet, tap, and jazz. So we did a little popping, but it wasn't like the core,
like overt, very sexual,
of our routine.
Yeah,
it was always be elegant, hands up, feet pointed.
What you see in Dance Moms?
Exactly.
The technicality portion, not so much the emphasis on body movement, like very forceful body movement. So I'm gonna drop a name here, R. Kelley. I did it.
Embarrassing.
So, you say embarrassing?
Embarrassing.
Because I mean, we look at the portrayals, and young girls, and it's what popped into my head. So R. Kelley.
As growing up, you hear the stories of Black girls being approached by older men, sometimes in their own family.
Yeah.
Then the excuse would be, oh, she looked older. She carried herself as an older woman. She looked like an older woman. Right is right, wrong is wrong, no matter how you physically look. You know right from wrong. Don't use her physical appearance as an excuse for your mess ups.
So just to kind of tie this together, so we're looking at a figure like R. Kelley being attracted to a younger female because of
physical characteristics. So her body physically looks like that of an older woman. Right. So that justifies the sexualization and the approach. You're like, well, I didn't know that she was 14. See, and that's not, to me personally, that's nothing but an excuse. Why is someone else being punished for their natural build? Like, these young girls don't grow up at the age of 10, I want to be built like this when I'm 16. It naturally occurs. So what their punishment is, you as an adult male, 30, 40 years old, have the right to approach them? Absolutely not.
Well, I'm from Chicago, which is R. Kelley's hometown.
Yes, please, speak on it, sister.
So I remember hearing these stories about him hanging around like the local McDonald's like it was like an urban legend. Like as a child, like people would say that. So for me, I mean, I've got approached by older men when I was 16. Like one man literally asked me, "Are you 18?" I'm like, "No." Keep going. Like it's ridiculous because of that I do get a little insecure sometimes. Like because I'm like, it's not my fault. I'm built a certain way. Like my parents didn't make me feel like it was my fault. Yeah. Just my dad's like, just tell that Negro who to go. Right.
Like, how did it confuse you? Like at the time, like when it occurred, the community seemed so on R. Kelley's side, mad at the girl, and then even recently, even though it seemed like more people are on the victim side, you still have people justifying, well, she knew how old she was, she knew this.
But that's the problem that I have with R. Kelley apologists, period. the point is, that's a little girl.
Absolutely.
Like at 14, if I meet my
Very
favorite,
impressionable.
very impressionable. You a grown, you grown. You're a grown man. Like you 40 some years old.
Yeah.
You have the right to tell. When he was like, well, their parents brought them to me, you can say no. Like, what's the problem with saying no? You didn't want to say no.
Okay, so I'm gonna bring it back because it's unfair for me to just beat up on R. Kelly.
Absolutely.
Elvis Presley.
That was a sucker too.
Jerry Lewis. Elvis Presley married Priscilla as a teenager. You had Jerry Lee Lewis. I think he was charged with transporting his cousin across state lines.
First cousin, 13 years old.
To have a relationship. So this is not something that's germane just to African American culture. So it does happen in other cultures, but you don't see like the backlash that you definitely see like with R. Kelly. All right, so we talked about the physical body. Let's bring this back home to the college campus. All right, I'm gonna ask you a question. What is sexual misconduct from the university's perspective?
Well, we have the definition of unwanted verbal or physical contact. Can one time be enough to call it sexual misconduct? Possibly, depending on how egregious it is. But usually it's unwanted, pervasive and continuous sexual advances, whether it's in writing, whether it's verbally, whether it's via text, so
Social media, 'cause
social
that's a big
media
thing.
can be a huge part, even if you've never physically approached a person, if you've used some kind of electronic form, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, to be consistently talking about sexual things of a sexual nature or advances.
Okay, so how does a student handle sexual harassment or sexual misconduct here at UAPB? What should they do?
They need to report it, and the ways that you can report it, you can come straight to me. There's a Title IX help email address that we have as well. The information is also posted in all the dorms.
Okay.
Not only is it in all the dorms, to who do you report it, not only on our campus, but off our campus as well. It's also on the Dean of Students website.
Okay.
It's on the university's website under the Affirmative Action page. And it goes through a plethora of everything from what consent means to what sexual misconduct is, who do you report it to. And as a Title IX coordinator, yes, you can report it to me, but if you, most of our employees are mandatory reporters, which means if you have a professor who you confide in, or if you have a coach whom you confide in, they do have an obligation. If it crosses the line as being sexual harassment or sexual misconduct or have the appearance of being that, they will direct it to myself or one of our deputy coordinators to look into the matter. And so while we want to maintain the confidentiality that you have and the confidence that you have in your professors and your coaches and the employees here at the university, we also take your well-being seriously. And so we want those matters reported. We also want you as students to encourage one another and support one another when there are instances of sexual misconduct, whether it's same-sex or heterosexual instances. Right. So we do encourage you to bring a friend or report on behalf of a friend. Okay. That's okay.
So that's okay.
Yeah, I personally feel like it is a thing that every individual should take part in. You shouldn't just say, go talk to a professional.
Absolutely.
As a young man on the campus, I've had to tell a few guys, like, watch your comments, or hey, don't touch her. And usually it'll end no violence, no arguing, because they see another male figure, which is an issue itself. Like, why respect this lady when a male is around? And I feel like everyone as a whole should just take part in it. Stand up for somebody. Tell them, like, hey, she don't like your comments.
Absolutely.
Even though she may not verbally say, hey, you're creeping me out.
Discomfort.
Physical appearance, like body language, seeing them give you a push away, like
Shoulders,
common sense play a part in it at some point.
Yeah.
You see it.
So I'm going to ask you a question. as a male, do you feel like there is a culture that no means maybe?
Absolutely, because like I said, it's been times where I hear a guy go up to a lady, "You look nice." To me personally, there's nothing wrong. She say thank you, keep moving. "Hey, but what's your number?" "Oh, sorry, I have a boyfriend." "Can we be friends or something?" Like,
So the rebuff doesn't work.
it's like the lady, she would take all of these premeditated thoughts that I feel like she sat and really thought about because she might be used to this. And she found ways to tell the guy in the most respectfully way possible. But then if she snaps, she's considered the crazy black lady.
It's not even that. You're kind of scared on how that person will react.
True.
Because there's so many instances where ladies had to tell guys, like, no, and then something will happen to them. So it's always a fear. So you're trying to weasel your way out of it. But sometimes they think, oh, she just
If I just keep going,
Right.
I might get.
And there is a fine line. One of the things that we teach on, because we're not only trying to educate our faculty and staff, but we're also trying to educate our students. So we've done some training with the athletic department. We've done some training in the dorms. We're trying to partner with other not just organizations, but other departments that work with students on our campus to do a better job of educating. I feel like we're still on the cusp of doing way more than what we can do, but we're trying. So we're out there and we're trying. And so the things that you mentioned in your example, we refer to as bystander intervention. So if you're there, if you're at the tower and your girlfriend, when I say girlfriend, I mean a friend girl. If you guys are there and there's somebody approaching you, whether it's a male or female, because I have to make sure I keep reiterating that it can be same sex as well as heterosexual harassment. And so have a code word, have a code something, a signal.
A safe word.
A safe word.
Pink flamingo.
Well, safe word gets into more of the sexual actual relations, but
like
have some kind of
alert
code
word that lets everybody know that you're uncomfortable. And
absolutely.
You need help. Okay.
And
That was
so
really good.
that bystander education piece, we're going to dive into even more this upcoming academic year, as well as you mentioned no means maybe.
Yes, we believe that there's a culture, and we've talked about this offline, that there's definitely a culture, sometimes pervasive with some of the males, that no means maybe.
But
like there's still a chance.
But girls can do it too.
Yes, and
as well.
females can do as well. Yeah, we don't want to just say, because we could flip the coin and say that girls are very, very aggressive, or young women are very aggressive. So we don't want to put that out there.
And those are some of the things that we have to work on, not being a stereotype as well. Consent is another form. Yeah, consent, I think, will, as we continue to educate our campus, will help dispel the myth of no means maybe, because consent is no. I mean, you don't have to verbally say no. Yes, the lack of consent is no. And so getting into more and more information about examples of what consent could and may not look like. So we're working on it. Can we do more? And we're open to suggestions from our student population.
Right, and that's what I wanted to get into. There's definitely a culture of promotion. You want to be proactive. So you're open to, like I want to say, we talked yesterday. You said that there was an organization that had a talk about sexual, what was it?
Sexual harassment.
Okay. And so I feel like events like that would be a great introduction to the Title IX department coming in and giving an actual talk that has structure, and you're able to answer those questions and even come up with maybe question and answer skits.
Correct.
That would kind of color and make sure that everybody's on the same page as far as what sexual assault is, what sexual misconduct is, what consent is.
Correct.
Right, especially, I mean, we're on college campus. Alcohol is a thing.
Yes.
What else?
Usually. Now, we've done a couple of sessions with deltas. We've done a couple of, we've even done skits, but we want to do more.
Okay.
And so we are working closely with the student side of the house to put on more events. Also with, when I say student side of house, that includes everything from your disability services office, the dean of students office, which is huge. He's also our deputy, Mr. Owens. Most people know him. Also, our residential life staff going into the dorms. We did that a lot this past year, doing training with their staff, our RAs. Also, Dean Brown, she's over student leadership and involvement. So that's one of the avenues also we've used to try and partner more with the student organizations and getting students to take ownership of the subject matter too, and not be afraid to address it like you guys are doing today. Correct, like you guys are doing today. So I was very happy to get the call.
Yeah.
So informing people more, it helps fight back against that perception that Black women are just seen sexually. They can be seen as a normal person.
Absolutely.
By informing people, letting them know that this is an issue, it fights against it and it helps them.
Because you wouldn't like if somebody did your mama like that.
Absolutely.
Oh no, or your sister,
Or whoever.
right? So, or your daughter. I think we've had a great combo, and this is like, I feel like it's the tip of the iceberg, and I really wish we had more time. We may have to do a part 2,
And that's
Maybe.
okay.
and bring more people to the table. So we want to let people know that they have a seat at the table. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Gold Table Talk Conversations. I'm Ebony Kendrick.
I'm Leonard Jones.
I'm Elandra Gilmore.
Thank you for watching. Take care.